Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here on 92.9 KVRE, streaming online at kvre.com and on iHeartRadio. Alongside Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, big week in sports this week as we get into March. We have so many big things on the horizon, whether it's state tournament action for local high school basketball, whether it's postseason basketball on the collegiate level. All sorts of things going on this week. How was your week this week, sir?
You know what? I'm excited. I mean, this week was scattered and smothered, and I'm not just talking about my biscuits. This was a special week, and we've got a little bit of everything, and still, baseball's starting to turn in, and now the basketball is just at its peak right now. And I know right now, speaking of basketball, Mark, woo!
Yeah, we're going to begin this week's show with a look at some history all year long. National Park College Nighthawk women's basketball has been lighting up the scoreboard, lighting up the record books, the history books, breaking barriers every single way you look. And joining us on the program this week is the head coach of Nighthawk women's basketball, Eddie Broughton Sr. The team recently won the first Region 2 tournament championship in National Park College history for either the men or the women, and this weekend they will be playing in Missouri against North Central Missouri College for the district championship, one win away from the national tournament. Coach, good morning to you, sir. How are things going this week? Has it set in the level of success and the amount of history that this team has achieved, not only all season long, but specifically in this past weekend?
Oh man, good morning. Good morning. It's been, I don't even know what it's been. It's been crazy. It's been fun, exciting. I don't know if it's set in, but just hearing all of the support and the love that the team is receiving. We know for sure, but I don't think we really realize, what we're doing or what we've done. And I don't think that'll set in until we're finished on the court. We just get to, sit back and reflect on everything as a group and, laugh, cry a little bit, and just embrace what we just done.
Now, Coach, those that have been following the team this season have gotten to see a firsthand look at the journey, but I want to take the listeners that aren't familiar with the team back on a journey, and I really want to start with last season. This was a team, of course, you were coming in, you were named head coach of this program kind of late into the recruiting season. There's all sorts of challenges that come with that to begin with, but maybe the biggest challenge that this program faced is that you guys had to end your season early, really before you were able to even lift off. Like 1 month into the season, you had to call it quits on the year. What was that like for you as a head coach as you saw your rivals and your colleagues in Region 2 play go on and find success while you continued to have to kind of lay those building blocks and that foundation to get ready for this year?
It was difficult. I found myself going to some of my colleagues' games and just watching their games and, like you said, seeing their success. And it was difficult, but also like a blessing in disguise. It gave me time and kind of just that little month gave me a whole different outlook on my approach to recruit. And me and Coach Turner, we went out. We were gone every day. Every day we were on the road. We really took time to get to know these young ladies before offering scholarships. And I think that's what we're seeing now is that success and actually getting to really know these players, just taking extra time to just to get to know the character, the personalities. We were going to some of these girls. We went to 4 of their games. Just want to see how they react to losing, react to the coach getting on them, react to even blowouts. So how are you reacting? When you're blowing a team out, are you just not engaged anymore? Or are you cheering your teammates on? And we just took all that time and we used it to our advantage. And as you can see, it helped out a lot this year.
Yeah, you talked about the recruiting for this program. Of course, you were able to go out and handpick the top talent really from Texas with the Garrett twins, Kayla and Kyra, all the way to some diamonds in the rough here in Arkansas. One of the cool things that I really like about this team is that it's not all just big school girls that all won state championships and things like that. You're recruiting even from Class 1A here in Arkansas, going to find the brightest talent in the smallest schools, and together all these young ladies came together as one team, one unit this season. And I mean, the results speak for themselves. But what has it been like as a coach to see the recruiting and all those hours that you and Coach Turner have put in pay off in such a way that it has this year?
It's been beautiful. It's been so easy this year as far as, not dealing with all the extra stuff that you don't want to deal with on a day-in basis, like, the drama or, girls missing class and stuff like that. We haven't had to deal with anything really. I haven't had to have conversations and like, hey, you two got to get along. I know, hey, for a few months, hey, just get along, and when the season's over, we'll figure it out. They love each other genuinely. And it's one of the best things that I get out of coaching is seeing all these different personalities come together and just fall in love with each other. It's just a genuine love amongst each other, and it's just so. I just sit back and watch, and I just smile and like, hey, we really accomplished something. And I think that's one of the first things you want to accomplish is hoping your team gets along and can last the whole season. And as you can see, like throughout the league, you see teams fall apart and teams drop out of the conference as we did last year. And, a lot of the reason is because of people quitting because they don't like this or that. And we just, we're still fully loaded for the most part.
Coach,
and it's just been a beautiful sight.
I was just going back to what you were saying a while ago. It's a testimony of how you treated and how you took time out, and that may have been a blessing in disguise on how not only you looked at their performances, on the court, but also off the court too. And then you get to know these young ladies as such, and after all, when you do give those scholarships out, it still says, student athlete on there and how they react to going to class. And that just shows testimony to you how, off the court can be as important as on the court. Wouldn't you say that? For sure.
Off the court, that's probably one of the biggest things you have to deal with is the off the court stuff. The on the court stuff is just, that's the fun, that's the rewarding part when you get on the court to play the games and whatnot. It's the off the court stuff that can come and haunt your team and destroy a team. So we've just been really blessed and fortunate to have a great group that's doing what they're supposed to do. They came here to be student athletes, as you said, and they're handling their business for sure.
Now, Coach, when you look at the stats for this women's basketball team and you see all the accolades and everything, you must think, if you don't look at the stats, you must think, oh, well, you've got girls averaging 20, 25 points a game, but the numbers say different. You've got girls averaging 9 points a game, 10 points a game. No true scoring leader necessarily, but what we see with this team is defense. Defense is the bread and butter. We look back at this tournament. You hold the University of Arkansas Cossatot to 40 points. You hold North Arkansas College to just 49 points in the championship game on their home court. When you look at the all-time list, you've got multiple young ladies on this squad on the all-time rebounds list at National Park College. You have, I believe, 6 of these young ladies are in the top 10 all-time in steals at National Park College. Obviously, defense has been the formula this season, but was that what you expected out of these girls coming in, or is that just how things kind of just blossomed as the season went on?
I'm a defensive-minded coach. That's what I had to do in college to get on the court, was play defense and pass the ball to the scorers. So and that just came with me as a coach. I preach defense. We still work on defensive stuff every day. We're doing our drills and whatnot. But at the end of the day, the players have to want to, play the defense. They have to buy in. And when I say they bought in, it's an understatement. These young ladies, they play their hearts out. And that's one of the first things you realize or recognize when you watch us play and you see our intensity on defense. And that's all the feedback I get, like how unselfish we are, how hard we play defensively, and then just how fun it is to watch us play. So definitely that's what I wanted. But are you going to get it? Usually, you get it, and most of the times you don't. And this year we got it all the way around.
Coach, being on the road like you guys are on a lot, and spending time together in the gym, whether it's at home or away or such, you become one unit, and you're almost like a father figure out there. Do you find yourself sometimes treating them like they're your extended family, like they're a daughter, and just getting onto them every once in a while, or making them or correcting them on something?
For sure. That's the main thing I preach when I'm recruiting them. Like, hey, once you sign and commit to me, I mean, you're going to have to get rid of me, because I'm the coach that, I want you to, rely on me. I want you to depend on me if you got, some questions or some concerns in your life, and you may need another opinion from an adult figure. So definitely, that's what we want here. We want that family atmosphere. A lot of coaches say it, but they don't really go out of their way to make that happen, and we do. We tell them it's going to be a family, and once they're gone from me, I still treat them as family. I call, I check up on them. I went to a wedding this past summer from a player I coached 4 years ago. I mean, it's and that's also is a reward for me. I love it. I embrace it. I just, I think it comes naturally being a coach, to be a father figure. But like I said, some coaches, embrace it and some don't. But I'm one of the ones that really embrace it, and I really enjoy that part of coaching. Is just, being that father figure. And some of these young ladies don't have father figures in their lives, so it's good. It's good. It feels good when I can step up and provide some guidance and whatnot to some of these young ladies.
Now, Coach, I want to go back to the celebration. Winning the Region 2 tournament is a really big deal, not only for National Park College, but for this women's program. Simply put, it's never been done before, and it's such a huge highlight for this team, this program, and this college as a whole. Now, if I know you probably only let the girls celebrate for like an hour before it was time to move on to the district championship and preparing for that. But tell me about that celebration, a moment, a story. What's something that sticks out to you, that's always going to stick out to you for this achievement?
The buzzer going off. I felt like that fourth quarter was never going to end. I'm like, come on, just end, just end. But once the buzzer went off, I mean, the feeling of relief, not only for the team, getting the first championship and whatnot, but for me personally, man, my journey has been so just a roller coaster, and I always got, I tell my team, like, hey, we got chips on our shoulder, because I try to put my energy into them, and I've always had a chip on my shoulder because I always felt overlooked, I always felt like underappreciated, and once that buzzer sound off, man, tears of joy just streamed down my face. And then, once the girls saw me, like, because I'm always tough on them. I give them that tough love, and they never seen me in that manner. And once they saw me, they all break down with me. And then I started crying even more. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That's the daddy in you coming out there.
Stop it. But just to see all the hard work paying off, and, and them, like, seeing that, hey, this, he was on to something. He wasn't just on us just to do it. He really was on to something. And I mean, just seeing the joy, the families. I mean, our crowd was insane. We're at North Ark, but you would have thought we were at home. How loud our crowd was, and it was perfect. I couldn't have drew it up any better than the way it ended that day.
Coach, team plays at 1 o'clock in the Central Plains District Championship against North Central Missouri College. Long trip to Trenton, Missouri, but you and the ladies are one win away from your first national tournament appearance in program history. What do you know about the Pirates' keys to victory in order to keep the journey moving forward?
Just looking at film, film can be so deceiving. You're watching the film and you're like, all right, we can compete, and hey, we may be more athletic, but we won't know until we get on the floor with them. But I do think we're battle tested. That's one thing I feel like we have over them. Although they're ranked number 12 in the country, I feel like we're battle tested. We've been on many long road trips this season, so I don't think that'll have too much effect on us. But we're ready. We're ready to go. You can see it in our practices. I cut our practices even shorter now because these girls they're taking it to another level. So I think you're going to see the best version of the Lady Nighthawks Saturday for sure.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, no doubt, this afternoon. And man, oh man, and what a great year. And we look just forward to the years after this, Coach. And we just appreciate everything you bring to the court and also to MPC and Hot Springs and the state of Arkansas. Okay, bud?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Coach Eddie Broughton, Sr. of Nighthawk Women's Basketball, National Park College, continuing to make history this season, and you can find that game online later today at piratesdigitalmedia.com. When we come back, we've got more to come on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. Don't go anywhere. This is 92.9 KVRE. And we're back, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. For segment 2 of this week's show, we take it to the National Basketball Association. Tracy, a big week in the NBA, some good, some bad. We'll start with the good. A huge milestone for LeBron James. The Lakers' 40-year-old superstar has become the first member of the NBA's 50,000-point club. He only needed 1 point in the game against New Orleans and got it done on a first quarter three-pointer. Luka Doncic picking up the assist there, but LA off to a really, really good start since that February 1st trade where Luka Doncic goes in exchange for Anthony Davis. LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and the Lakers are currently the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. But before we dive more into the trade and the resounding effects of the trade, let's talk more about LeBron James here. He finished with 34 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in that win over New Orleans. The Lakers have won 17 out of 20 since that trade. They're sitting at 39 and 21. He's the NBA's career leader in regular season and postseason scoring. When you look at what he continues to do at 40 years of age, 22 years in the league, longevity, boy, I wish that I could be that high functioning whenever I reach 40. But the guy's a monster. He's a machine. And regardless of who you think the GOAT is in NBA, you got to admit he's doing things at this age, at this level, that's even still better than rookies and youngsters and 20-somethings in the league right now.
Mark, and we talk about this all the time, but how the game has changed. And we're talking about those milestones, 30, 40,000. And we think of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and those guys back in those days, the bigs down low. But the game, the transition has changed so much. And we were talking about this last week, how the three-pointer has just really changed and how he not only going down when he needed to in the paint, he's been remarkable from the outside. That three-point line has made a big difference, adding to his total. But also, I think, has been a major impact is his resiliency. One thing, like him staying in shape, but also the way that people take care of themselves these days. I mean, back in the day, you got to admit, trainings were not as efficient as they are now. Diet wasn't a biggie,
Right.
And so I believe that all took part in what he's known for and what he's established. And you say about GOAT, yeah, and until he wins 6 rings is what everybody's saying and gets in there with MJ and stuff. But to do what he's done at this level at 40, it is remarkable. I think there's a lot of different areas that you've got to take in consideration, but 50,000 is 50,000. I don't care who you are. And at 40, it just goes to show, what these guys are capable of doing these days. Mark, the question I'm going to ask back to you, will it ever be broke?
Yeah,
I mean,
I was about to hit you with that one too. You see?
Oh.
But here's the deal. That is the question.
Yeah.
Is this now an unbreakable record? It was a big deal when he passed Kareem, right? And of course, that is a long time ago at this point. And of course, he was the all-time leading scorer in postseason play. I believe it's been 7 seasons since LeBron broke that record. So, I mean, you can call it padding the stats. You can call it whatever you will. I look at a young man. I know he's 40, but a young man with an impressive drive, an impressive motor that continues to do things at a high level. He had 34 points in that game. He's 40 years old. Nobody else is doing this kind of thing.
26 minutes.
And what I will say, and I know people are going to disagree with me, but if this was Michael Jordan, let's say Michael Jordan never retired once, twice, whatever, I don't know if Jordan had the stamina to do what LeBron is doing now. Now, apples to apples, in their prime, was Jordan better? Yeah, give him that. Give him that. And he's probably the GOAT. He's probably the GOAT, and there's probably no way that you can ever actually change that. But LeBron is doing, though, it is certainly noteworthy. When you think about longevity, when you think about the best to ever do it in sports, you think about greatness in long stretches. You think about Tom Brady in the NFL. You think about Tiger Woods in golf. And I know that even though that Tiger Woods has kind of fallen off in recent years, the level of success that he was able to maintain and sustain for a large amount of time, I don't think anybody will ever do what LeBron James is doing at the level that he's doing. Will people play 22 years? Yeah, absolutely. How many years does LeBron James have left? As many as he wants, is the way it seems to go here, because he's 40 years old. He's in his 22nd season. He achieved his goal of playing beside his son in the NBA. I don't know that there's anything else that he actually wants to play for other than rings at this point, but he's also, the wheels are not necessarily falling off the wagon. So, maybe until Father Time takes the game away from him, everybody keeps talking about this is the sunset, the twilight, and he's got a year left, 2 years left. Who knows? This guy could play. With the advancement of medical technology that we've seen in the NBA and really all professional sports in the past couple of decades, who's to say LeBron James couldn't play until he's 50? If he really wanted to, and he takes care of his body and barring any kind of major injury, what's stopping him from going to 50? With Luka Doncic on the team now, he doesn't have to carry all the weight, which is helpful for anybody. It's not that LeBron is weak or he needs help. It's just he's 40 years old and he shouldn't be depended on to do it all by himself. Good grief, no way. But with Luka there to help balance that weight, and look at the success that we've seen of the team with Luka coming in, it's possible that there really is no end in sight for LeBron James until he just decides that he's ready to move on to the broadcast booth or own a team or own 5 teams. I don't know. The dude he's got more money than I'll ever make in my entire life, right? But he's earned it and he deserves it.
Well, and the main thing here is just like you were saying, Father Time, it catches up with all of us sooner or later, but his clock just seems to be going a little bit slower. And as you mentioned, and I, started it up, the ways of training these days is so much different from back in the day, as so to speak. And it wasn't too long ago, but, you look at the Jack Nicklaus,
yes.
Look at all the stuff that he did, winning a major at 46, but basketball is and they say football is a contact sport. Basketball is a contact sport, and you get in there and you're talking about the bigs getting down low, a lot of elbows flying around, a lot of knees getting popped and stuff like that. But I'm going to tell you, the bar is way too high for anybody else. Jordan was at 33,000 or something. The bar is way, way up there. And like you said, I don't know if it's going to be 50, but you know what? He's going to play. He's going to keep going. And with Lucas sitting there helping him out, and whoever else they want to come in there to get some more minutes off the bench and whatever, it's just his note to call, because I guarantee you right now, and his post-interview the other night said, well, what are you going to do from here? And no, he didn't say going to Walt Disney World, but he did say, well, maybe looking at that 55 mark or something like that. So, you know what? That's a bar that is yet nobody will ever, and I say, I'm going to put it on, I just don't think anybody will ever reach there. Nobody's going to stay in shape. He's the perfect form for going down low or staying outside. And people don't think about this. He's top in rebounding too.
Yeah.
Now, so, the numbers there, Mark, I don't see anybody ever topping it.
It's just in his DNA, just plain and simple. You're looking at greatness right now. One of the things that I've tried to challenge myself to do, and I challenge the listeners to do as well, is forget about the debate. Okay, there's always going to be the debate there, but just appreciate greatness as it's in front of you. Don't be like, oh man, you know what? One day he's going to retire. He's going to be gone in the game, or he'll be an analyst or whatever, but his playing days will be over. And it's like, man, the one regret that I had with Michael Jordan is I did not appreciate what he was doing. I was also a Jazz fan, so I really didn't appreciate what he was doing back in the 90s. But appreciate greatness when it's in front of you. don't have that regret where it's like, man, I really didn't know what I was looking at. Wasn't paying attention. And while we stay in the NBA, another quick story here because it's before the 50K point barrier. This was the biggest story in the NBA this week, and it was the loss of Kyrie Irving to an ACL injury for the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Tracy, whenever I tell you that this was a nightmare scenario from the beginning, we talk about the February 1st trade, Luka to the Lakers, AD to the Mavericks. It was bad enough that Anthony Davis didn't even get to complete one full game with the Dallas Mavericks before going down due to injury. We had a feeling he had some injury concerns. We saw it. We have not seen AD play since that first game. Now we're not going to see Kyrie Irving for the rest of the season. Got to give it to the man who's crying, tears in his eyes as he knocked down those 2 free throws of the torn ACL. It's something I hope that I never have to do in my life.
Hello.
But he's done for the year, and he's going to be done into next year, which just leaves Klay Thompson for the Dallas Mavericks as the main star left. Certainly not what he signed up for. Certainly not what AD signed up for, because he technically never signed up for it. He found out he was traded and oops, okay, here you go. Now you're in Dallas. But what a falling out for this team and this organization here. People were questioning this trade to begin with. And fun fact, this injury happened on Monday night. I have to tell you that Monday morning, for whatever reason, the Dallas Mavericks came out and said, hey, by the way, next year we are raising ticket prices 8% to help with fan engagement for next season.
Engagement. I like that terminology.
I think karma got him really, really bad in that one. And I don't know if I believe in karma, but the timing is really, really, really terrible. Even if Kyrie Irving didn't tear his ACL, really? You want to raise ticket prices now?
Yeah, in the middle.
Whenever they're protesting at SMU games, they're protesting anywhere they can. Fans are getting kicked out of their own stadium for saying fire the GM. The answer is raise ticket prices?
Yeah, well,
really?
I don't know about karma, but it's bad luck to be superstitious. Anyway, but if you think of it that, not only ticket prices, but everything as far as concessions is going up too. So
yeah, it's to help fan experience.
What was that terminology you said a while ago, though? That was something. That was something right off the roof, there off the chain, or whatever they say these days. But fan, I don't know, what was that word? We'll come back to that here in a minute.
I don't know if Dallas will have fans after this season. Kyrie Irving can be a free agent if he opts out. AD can be gone after this season if he opts out, and so can Klay Thompson. So is Dallas going to have to hit the reset button? I'm telling you, it really can't get much worse at this point.
Hey, Karl Malone, 37,000.
Yeah, Karl Malone was my favorite NBA player. I don't think I can say that anymore. I don't think I can say that anymore. Well, so I just say I'm a John Stockton guy.
Well, John, how much did he deliver to Karl? So there you go.
Yeah, the mail runs on Sundays in Utah. I'll tell you that.
There you go.
All right, that's our segment here. When we come back, much more to talk about. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition continues in a moment on 92.9 KVRE.
Third quarter coming up.
And we're back, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, 92.9 KVRE, and online at kvre.com. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, we've talked a lot of basketball on this week's show, but we can't move on to anything else because there's just so much going on right here. We got to keep it with the NCAA tournament because March Madness is literally right around the corner. And one of the biggest stories here in the natural state has been the Arkansas Razorbacks men's basketball team. Now, of course, life in Razorback Nation is anything but normal and safe and ordinary and whatever the opposite of a heart attack is. The Razorbacks have been living and dying by the result of each game. They had a tough loss to South Carolina last week. And at that moment, we talked about on last week's show, I was concerned that not only just a loss to South Carolina, but the big upset loss to South Carolina had me wondering if the wheels had fallen off and that this ride was finally coming to a stop. But then the Razorbacks did something that even I wasn't expecting them to do, and that was go out and take care of business in a big way against another bubble team, the Vanderbilt Commodores. A road win for the Hogs, 90-77. and it undoes everything. It puts everything up in motion, causes a lot of commotion. And now as we head into the regular season finale, a home game with the Mississippi State Bulldogs, Arkansas virtually looks like that it is going to slide into the NCAA tournament regardless of what happens in the upcoming SEC tournament. Your thoughts?
Well, the tale of two halves, so to speak, Jekyll and Hyde, if you want to say, because you're right. They absolutely, were throwing up bricks. Too bad they weren't building a house, actually, against South Carolina. And by the way, they were in the bottom of the cellar. Okay. So
yeah.
Then all of a sudden they come back and here, what's Coach Cal says again? He says, look, we got to go down in the paint. He preached that to them last time. I think they were just road weary a little bit. It was an early game. They had been on the road for a while. And as it is, they haven't been performing so well early games. Okay. You take that all away. The other night, they played till almost midnight. All right. And down low, they just, they had everything, the rebounds. And then all of a sudden they start popping them from the outside. And if you recall, they were down by 8 or 9 in the first half. And everybody's like going, okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. And then the defense just starts coming out. And we're not only talking, everybody contributed. And a night from Brazil, which was unbelievable. We hadn't seen that all year long. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Where has he been all year? Well, he's been there, but the performance he had, of course, all SEC caliber. But, right now, Mark, like you said, as soon as we're off the air, we're going to find out. If they win this, it'll be a lot easier. It'd be a lot easier for the prediction, to come through. But they are going to have to do good in the SEC, I think, also, Mark. But then again, there you go. Auburn going down this week. Mm-hmm. Who would have thunk that? An A&M team on senior night just puts it on them. And then you got the likes of Florida rebounding, taking on Alabama and knocking them down. So, what teams are going to show up in the SEC and who's hot and who's not.
Yeah, right. I remember I was in Harrison with Nighthawk women's basketball last week, sitting in a Dairy Queen, and we watched Tennessee drain the 3-point buzzer beater to beat Alabama. And then, of course, Tennessee falls this week in similar fashion. So everybody's beating each other up right now.
Ole Miss, really.
Yes,
think about it.
But this league and the strength of this league, this is probably the strongest SEC play that we've seen ever in college basketball. And that is very difficult to say given just how the amount of years that we've seen in this league, period. But you mentioned Brazil, a huge performance against Vanderbilt, shot 50.8% from the floor, dominant rebounding in the second half in order to achieve victory. It's the 5th, what they call quad 1 victory for Arkansas this season. And that helps because, they're 7-10 in SEC play. They're 18-12 overall. Nothing really to write home about, but it's the strength of schedule. It's those quad 1 victories, as they call them, that is really going to vault Arkansas up into the standings. They've got huge signature wins. They've beaten number 15 Michigan. They've beaten Kentucky on the road in Rupp Arena, which is almost impossible to do. They've beaten Texas on the road. They've beaten Missouri, who's ranked number 14 at home. They've beaten Vanderbilt on the road. If the SEC tournament began today, Arkansas would be the 12th seed. They'd have a first-round game against Texas, who's the 13. Arkansas swept Texas this season. They would then go on and face Missouri likely in the second round. Guess who beat Missouri this year? Tennessee waiting in the quarterfinal round. The strength of schedule and really the projected schedule for Arkansas looks really, really good at this point. Coach Cal said about the loss to South Carolina, he says, I didn't even watch the tape. We burned the tape. Didn't even look at it. Said, you know what? We had 8 really strong games in a row. We were due for a dud. Boy, we had a dud. But the way that this team was able to erase that, basketball is such a mental game. The way that they were able to throw that game away like it didn't happen, that's really, really tough given the way they lost that game, but they did it, and they did it on the road. Not only a win over Vanderbilt, but a 13-point win over Vanderbilt. Looks like they're going to get in whenever the bracket comes out. Of course, they want to beat Mississippi State. They want to win the SEC tournament. They want to do all the things to up the stakes, up their chances, but no matter what seed they get in the tournament, in March Madness, I know that Arkansas will be a difficult out for anyone they go up against.
And Mark, I think it was either last week or the week before we talked about this, the seeding in the dance. This may be the highest seed that the Razorbacks have ever been, and I would love to get that 12 seed because you know what happens with that 12-5.
Oh, yeah, the 12s usually beat the 5. There's always one.
That is the one,
and
man.
this could be the one.
That could be the one. So, whatever they do, I think that they still have to come up with one more good one. I believe so, just to for their own sake. Just to say, yeah, we're going to get there because there's a lot of good teams out there. I'll be honest with you, that are sitting there also, not just the top 25 teams that are on the outside looking in right now. And of course, some of the ones that are going to have to play in and such. So you talk about, this weekend, just unbelievable ball games around the area that are going to determine where everybody's going to go in this following week. I can't wait for not tomorrow, but for next Sunday, because that's going to be something special.
There have been a lot of big wins this season, really, really big wins. And it's a testament to the coaching staff, testament to what we've called these guys, like these blue collar Razorback players that we've seen this season. And maybe it's winning at Kentucky and spoiling, Coach Cal's homecoming for the Wildcats. And, they wanted to get the win there. But I think this win over Vanderbilt will likely go down in the rearview mirror. I think it's going to be the most important win of the season. I think it's going to be the turning point of the season here. Of course, we'll see what happens after tip-off against Mississippi State later today. But I think that this is the make or break point. It's not always the best team. It's not always the number one team or the team with the best record that wins March Madness. We all know that. That's why nobody can make the perfect bracket out there, right? If you just go by the numbers, then you're a bazillionaire by the end of the tournament, but nobody can do it because basketball is much, much more than that, and it's way beyond the stats. It also includes the heart and who's hot. This Razorback team is hot right now. You got to take away the South Carolina loss, but sometimes as we've learned and as we've grown with basketball and even analysts of basketball, sometimes it takes a big loss, a heart-wrenching loss to really light a fire underneath the team. We might see the reddest, the hottest Razorback team going into this tournament for the SEC as well as March Madness.
And this is just like you said, who's hot and who's not. You see the likes of Auburn going down, and that right there tells you, look, at any given time, any given court, anybody can be beat, and it's just that simple. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see as soon as we get out of here. We'll be tuning it in.
Yeah, it's just about game time. Just about game time.
So, Dan, I tell you what, we still got a lot going on around here, though, locally, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. When we come back, we got lots of local news to bring your way. High school state tournaments are going on. Baseball and softball has just started, and there is big news to bring your way there as well. Don't go anywhere. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition continues in a moment on 92.9 KVRE.
Fourth quarter coming up.
The fourth quarter is here, which means it's time for our local roundup here on Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, we talked about a lot of big things happening this weekend, but there's something really big happening this weekend right here in Hot Springs at Oaklawn. It's the Aziri Stakes. There is a lot of money on the table, and there is a very big celebrity in the house this weekend. I know you, I know Alice, I know everybody here at KVRE is really excited about this race this weekend.
No doubt about it. The Aziri Stakes always brings out some of the best in any kind of racing, but the fillies and mares are out, and these are special because this particular race you have Torpedo Anna, who's the horse of the year from last year. She's just phenomenal athlete, and this is her debut from becoming a 4-year-old. She hasn't raced since last November, and of course, being the horse of the year for Kenneth McPeak, she's just that special. She's actually raced against the boys before and won.
Yes,
and so coming out, making her debut, there's a lot of questions to be answered still. For one thing, she hasn't raced since November in the Breeder Stakes, and then now she's coming out as a 4-year-old. So she's sort of, from, being a late teenager to now a young adult. And the transition period is one of those defining moments for horses, or anytime being off for 5 months is really a lot of concern too, though. Of course, she's the dead favorite, 2-5 odds, and only 7 in the field. So she scared away most challengers, but this is going to be an excellent time to get out to Oaklawn, whether you're, an Oaklawn kind of person, but to see an athlete in action, the best in the game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, she was the 6th Oaklawn raced female to capture Horse of the Year, and she's outdoing the boys out there. With such a great. A great run. Of course, last year she really kind of came out onto the scene with that big win in the Fantasy as just a 3-year-old. And you mentioned, there's a little bit of time gap in between, but to be rested up, to be ready, even with the time gap, when you talk about the field, just 7 total horses in the race, I think everybody seems like, is there some fear there? Is there some fear? There's horses dropping out? Because, you look at the odds, you look at the accolades, is this kind of looks like a done deal already before the opening whistle?
Well, the only thing also is she's coming out of the 1 hole, which is, at Oaklawn right now, that's concerning because it's one of the slower parts of the track right now. She likes to lay back a little bit with no problem. Last time she got beat, Mark, was last August against the boys.
Okay.
And she just got missed by a head.
Sure.
She almost won the Travers Stake, and that was against the boys. And I'm telling you, that's the last time she got beat as a 2-year-old. But since then, she's just still going along with her own little pattern and just doing what she wants to do. I don't think this is more or less coming out as a major workout for her. I know there's $400,000 on the line too, though, which will make her, you're sitting down for this one, she'll go over the $4 million mark.
Oh, man.
So a little bit of, she's 10 races, she's won 8, and she's coming second twice, and those times against boys. So, you know what? This is something, but still, win, lose, or draw, just to get out there and see this athlete, Mark. I think that's what everybody, look at.
You're right. If you're local to the Hot Springs area, the KVRE listening area, this is in driving distance for you. You have a great opportunity to see history in the making here at Oaklawn in Hot Springs. I'm really excited for this matchup as well. And I don't even follow horse racing as closely as the rest of you guys do.
Well, and another thing, too, is the infield's going to be open, right?
Yep.
And there's a lot of stuff out there for kids to do. There's bouncy houses. There's magicians. There's all kinds of things you can play and stuff. So, just take your blanket, come on out and spread it out. Bring the football out there with you or whatever, the Nerf ball and have a good time. It's for the family, too, and see one of the premier horse of the year. So that's just something local. We got a ton of stuff going on right now, huh, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. Want to give a shout out to Champion Christian College. The Lady Tigers basketball team has officially secured an at-large bid to the D2 national tournament. They play in the NCCAA, the National Christian College Athletic Association, and they'll be traveling to Minnesota this weekend. Tomorrow they'll be competing for a national championship. Best of luck to them. And of course, Tracy, on Monday, I was at my children's athletic awards banquet over at Mountain Pine, and just behind the cafeteria where we were up on the hill, Mountain Pine in Jessieville, opening day in Red Devil country. Cale Slayton throws an opening day no-hitter for Mountain Pine. He struck out 12 Lions, leading Mountain Pine past the Lions, I should say. 12-0 victory, no hits, no runs over 5 innings of work, only walked 2, the only base runners that he had in the ball game. Cale Slayton and the Red Devils off to a red-hot start to the season.
Once again, we brought this up last week. This is phenomenal. What a feat, and something special that he'll always remember.
Oh, yeah.
And once again, Mountain Pine, well, you've watched these kids grow up, man.
Yes.
And you know what they're capable of doing. Good coaching staff, great kids playing, and of course, you got a lot of folks that back the Red Devils over in that area. So we look forward to some more games coming out of that area over there, man. Some really special ball.
Yeah, Red Devils had 9 runs in the 3rd inning. That was all they needed to find victory in the season opener. I've got to get Coach Joey Alderman on the show. So no Joey doubt. And Mountain Pine, if you guys are listening, that phone call is coming. It's got to be coming. Hey, I want to give a big shout out on the basketball court to Lakeside High School. Junior shooting guard Peyton Futch joined rare company this week, eclipsing the 2,000 point mark. Tracy, I've met a lot of high school basketball players in my lifetime, interviewed a lot of them that reached 2,000 points like during their senior year. To do it during your junior year is absolutely incredible. 2,000 points. How far could she even go in her senior year? That is left to be determined. Of course, Lakeside had a great season this year. Their Class 5A state tournament run, unfortunately, did end this week in a first-round loss to Nettleton, but hats off to Peyton Futch. Hats off to the entire Lakeside girls basketball team this year on a season to remember. This is a team that won't rebuild. They will reload going into next year. I can't wait to see what the Lady Rams do next.
Oh, Junior, my goodness gracious. All right, what we got going? LeBron James Jr. over there. My goodness gracious. 2,000. That's a feat. Unbelievable. But yeah, man, they just missed it barely, Nettleton. But you know what? They'll be back. They got a lot of kids returning on that team, and we'll see what happens with that. But congratulations to her and to the whole team over there on a great, great year.
And of course, at the time of our recording, I know state tournament games will still be happening before the show airs, but we do want to congratulate a number of teams who unfortunately did have their seasons come to an end. We interviewed Coach Jared White of Jessieville boys basketball a couple weeks back. Jessieville, unfortunately, running into a buzzsaw in that first round loss to Dumas, 51-43. In 6A girls action, Bryant just didn't have what it took to get past Bentonville. Bentonville 57, Bryant 28. On the 2A boys side, Poen, after a very strong regional and district run, falls short in state tournament play, falling to Lee 47-42. Centerpoint in 3A girls action ends its season with a 71-37 loss to Dover, and a couple of big wins to bring your way as well. It's not all doom and gloom for our local listening area teams. Cutter Morning Stars girls team, a big win, and I mean a big win in 2A girls action over a very talented Mount Vernon Enola team, 58-50. And in 5A boys action, Benton put it on West Memphis, 78-50.
Man, I tell you, this is these games, and I'm telling you, this is just not the conference, the ones that won the conference. This is some exceptional basketball. And like we said earlier, even at the college level and now at the high school level, it's who's hot and who's not. And I tell you, interesting ball games. And we've got some going to be going on down here in downtown Hot Springs. Is going to be special, huh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And of course, we've said this all season long, and I guess we're just going to continue tooting our own horn. But look at the amount of teams in our listening area that made the tournament. And just on probability alone, it shows that, boy, the talent here in Hot Springs, Garland County, Saline County, the surrounding areas is there. We likely have a state championship still coming to this region, I believe, from all the talented squads that we've seen this year. But whether it's on the high school level or even on the college level, of course, we talked about National Park College women's basketball. We've talked about Champion Christian College women's basketball. Basketball is alive and well here in the Spa City and surrounding areas. It's a really good time to be a basketball fan here.
Well, and one thing for certain, if you get a chance, the weather, not a factor inside on the court. Mm-hmm. You can go inside and check it out. So I encourage you to go to some of these games. Hey, look, there's nothing like it in the world to get you excited. And the being in there, the ambience of it all just will get you back in the day, maybe when you were on the court or maybe when you were coaching or something. But I think it's just exciting, Mark, just to see some of these kids playing at their best level. And you know what? Hey, like you said, though, and I'm still on this bandwagon, I think we got one of the champions coming out of this area. Mark, is there something about baseball that maybe everybody should be knowing on the national and world level?
Well, there is some news this week. And, of course, we've talked about Pete Rose quite a bit on the Major League Baseball level and really our, distaste in the fact that he was never elected to the Hall of Fame. Of course, Pete Rose passed last year. But for you Pete Rose Hall of Fame fans out there, there's a glimmer, a very tiny spark out there of hope for you all this week. And of course, we don't usually bring politics a lot into our sports talk here on Sports and Shorts, but President Trump did say in the past week that he plans to issue a complete pardon of Pete Rose, saying that while he shouldn't have been gambling on baseball, he did only bet on his team winning, and he belongs in the Hall of Fame. So a pardon for Pete Rose could potentially come down over the next few weeks. And subsequently, we also learned this week that MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred is actively considering a petition by Pete Rose's lawyer to have him posthumously removed from Major League Baseball's ineligible list. That's the ban list.
Right.
So there's two things that have to happen here. First, he has to be taken off the ban list to even be able to be considered to be put on the ballot. Manfred says that he is willing to consider the petition. Now, whether he removes him from the ban list, that's left to be determined. But the fact that he's even willing to have that discussion says to me, hey, there might be some political influence here that might just allow that to happen. Now, let's say that they do remove Pete Rose from the ban list. He would then be eligible to make the ballot posthumously, but as we've talked about, had a chance to actually talk with Tom Nichols about this quite a bit, the voters. It comes down to the Hall of Fame voters who are very adamantly against allowing other players like Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, etc. from being considered. Alex Rodriguez. Would Pete Rose get the votes to get on? I'm not so sure, but you're saying that there's a chance.
Yeah, you're telling me there's a chance?
There is a chance. And I think it would be the right thing for Major League Baseball to do, but I think it's too soon to really get your hopes up about it.
No, but I believe it's the best move, and I think it should be done. And if we took a poll right now, Mark, which we can't, who believes that he should be in the Hall of Fame? Texas, 501-915-1300.
That's our show, Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition, here every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on 92.9 KVRE. For Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. We'll catch you next week.
Game over.